Welcome to day 9 of the Radio Free Skaro Fluid Links Advent Calendar. Today's question comes from Lissel. Lissel or Lisi? Can't tell if it's an I, a capital I, or an L. But the question is this. The Doctor Who television multiverse is a thing. Which old stories would you retell with a twist? What if format? So the what if is like that Marvel thing where they look and say, hey, what if Captain America was Captain Canuck or something? Is that one? Is that one that happened?
No,
it's
Captain
something
Carter.
That happened?
What happens? And
I'm gonna be warned to the punch here.
All right.
What if Sutek wasn't trapped in the pyramid and was able to go around just willy-nilly killing people?
Well, that'd be Flux basically. so there's...
That kind of would be, wouldn't it? Yeah. What if? Geez. Ooh. So what is the what if format then in Marvel, Warren?
So what it is, and it's been around forever. It's been around in the comics world since I think at least the 70s, probably earlier. But yeah, they basically it's just alternate stories that aren't in the canon, if such a thing can be said to exist, and the insane amount of stuff that happens in comics that gets rejiggerated and such. Right. But so yeah, basically it's just what if this happened exactly as you described it. Like for instance, on the What If cartoon show, animated show.
Call it a cartoon show. Call it a
cartoon show on Disney Plus.
Saturday morning cartoons.
There's a popular series called Marvel Zombies, which would be a lot tougher to do as a live action thing. So they made an episode where it was the zombies. So I think Black Widow and what's his name, Hawkeye are the only two people who are left, and they track down some more, and then it's their half-hour adventure avoiding all the Marvel characters who are still zombies at that point. So that kind of thing. But in our case, we just take crazy Doctor Who stuff and throw it on a tier. Mine would be, what if the vampires won in the Great Vampire War, got the regenerative powers, which they want, of the Time Lords, and they became the Time Lords.
Ooh.
But they're vampires.
But then you just erase it at the end of the week. Says, well, that would be fun. Anyway, let's just forget that ever happened. And then,
you don't have to erase anything. It just happens and it ends.
Yeah, the pretension of the show and of the comic is there's this guy called the Watcher, who's like this enormous guy in a robe with a big bald head, and he just observes all the multiverses and makes sure everything's cool and doesn't interfere ever, kind of like a Time Lord.
Or a Guardian.
Until he does. Yes, yeah, exactly.
This actually sounds more like the Black and White Guardian.
The Watcher's shown at the end of, was it one of the Avengers movies? So one of the MCU films.
No, there's a few Watchers in like a throwaway with a Stanley cameo in the first Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, or maybe the second one. I don't remember which. Okay. One of the two.
One of the MCU films, I remember. There's Watchers.
So they are canon. And What If is canon-ish, so.
Do you think so? Wow, yeah.
Canon-esque, let's put it that way.
It's kind of like Doctor Who Unbound, the big finish, really.
Kind of, yeah. It's essentially the same idea,
Yeah.
Do you have anything in mind there, Stephen?
Oh, golly, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I just sort of think of like, what if, like actual historical things, like...
You're missing a golden opportunity here, Stephen.
Yeah.
But I'll go into that later.
What if Matthew Robinson directed a third story of Doctor Who and canceled season 23 and thus, warranted inclusion in the miniscope? Is that much? That's not much of one, is it?
It's got to be within the universe. You got to do better
than that.
I got to think bigger than that. Oh boy, what would I retell for Doctor Who for What If? Boy.
You can do whatever you want, by the way.
Really? That's almost no fun. Like when you can do everything, then you can't. It just feels like it's almost like.
So what if Adric didn't die at the end of Earthshock?
I was gonna say Adric didn't die at the end of Earthshock, just sort of like bailed out and jumped out, but then died of starvation 5 days later. That's basically what I would probably do. It wouldn't be much. It would just sort of. He would die at a slightly less inconvenient time for him.
I have one more. Which is, since it's a multiverse, what if Doctor Who, presumably a 70s Doctor Who, let's say the third Doctor, because he would fit with the milieu, goes into the Sandbaggers and Neil Burnside becomes his unwilling companion.
I maybe actually, I think he could work in because we've had each of the Sandbaggers have been on Doctor Who at some point.
That's true.
And I think that perhaps Sandbagger 2 was actually undercover on Concorde in Time Flight during the course of that.
Sounds good.
Sandbagger 1, Willie Kane, was clearly doing an undercover mission in the space year 2540 on an Earth freighter in Frontier in Space. And Neil Burnside was for some reason masquerading as the head of a hospital in London in Smith and Jones. And they're actually all the sandbaggers, and I kind of like this idea. So, and I think this is more merged from a what if scenario to
it really has, yeah.
What if just Doctor Who and the sandbaggers met up and it was the same show? And is that how that works?
That could
Not
work
really,
that way.
but I like it.
I mean, or what if Michael Jaston wasn't playing the Valeyard in Trial of a Time Lord, and he was playing your new favorite obsession?
Michael Jaston as Quiller, who is actually like an amalgamation of not the 12th and 13th Doctors, like somewhere in there, but just the coolest Doctors, essentially.
He's an amalgamation of British cop shows of the 70s. So he's part Sweeney, he's part Life on Mars for some strange reason, even though it's not really a...
That's true. The Professionals maybe a little bit in there.
Go. Gangsters, throw some... Gangsters,
a little bit of gangsters, and so, but he's actually the intermediary dog. I'd throw in Nicholas Alexander in there too, and actually Tom Baker is in disguise as Rasputin, as Doctor Who, as the Master, as Rasputin, as Doctor Who. What if?